All right, so in the opening of this week's portion, we have the commandment to give the half shekel, the half coin.
Exactly.
And basically, every day in the temple, there were many offerings that were brought. But the first offering of every day and the end offering of every day, and then on holidays, another one, there was an offering brought on behalf of all the Jewish people. So the basic idea is everybody gives a half shekel, so that everybody has equal participation in those offerings. This half shekel, once a year, paid for the offerings that went throughout the year. So in Rashi's commentary, it tells us that Moses didn't know or didn't fully understand something about the half shekel. And the idea is he didn't really understand how the half shekel was supposed to atone, like Jesus did in the golden calf, that they were worshipping idols, and this was a terrible sin. So the half shekel was going to be a atonement, and Moshe didn't understand how that works. So God shows him, this is what Rashi tells us, God took a fiery coin from under his chair. All this is metaphor, obviously, not real chair, but it's a metaphor.
Out of nowhere, basically.
Yeah, he took out of the aura of God kind of thing.
Exactly.
And he took a coin that was on fire, and he showed it to Moses and said, "That's your half shekel." Now, one of the ways of understanding this is that a coin, what makes a coin, is that it doesn't matter who you are, the amount of the coin is still worth the same value. Exactly. So, for example, a bottle of water doesn't have the same value for everybody. If you're very thirsty, I charge you more. Mm-hmm. Right? So, if when you're in an amusement park, there's nowhere else to get water, and you're running around all day, they charge you $3 for a bottle of water. The same bottle of water somewhere else is 50 cents. Right? But cash always stays the same. So coin represents the unchanging, this is just the reality, this is just what it is, commitment.
Exactly.
And fire, of course, is the reverse. Fire is passion. Everybody's fire, everybody's passion is different. And I guess what God's showing Moses is the combination of the two. There's a baseline commitment. Doesn't matter what happens or what I feel like, what I don't feel like. There are things I have to do.
So it's basically the mitzvah. So regardless of what you are, who you are, how you are, what you have, you could still do a mitzvah, and the mitzvahs are never going to change for you.
That's right. So that's the coin element. Doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're feeling.
Exactly.
This is what you have to do. This is what you have to do.
And
then there's the other element, which is the
fire, which is basically like in your soul. So some people have like a desire to do it, they have an urge, and if they don't do it, it's like you're burning out the fire. Basically, you're splashing water on it. But but some people, like, they don't have as much of that passion and fire, so that's basically it's like a dependent and independent variable.
Yeah, so like the coin is independent.
Exactly.
And the fire is subjective. Depends how I'm feeling. So even myself, never mind differences between people, but even in my own life, right? So sometimes I feel more like it, and sometimes I don't feel like it, right? Some days you wake up and you feel like you want to pray, and some days you wake up in the morning and you're not in the mood of doing it.
Exactly.
Right? So I guess the ultimate is, and that's kind of the message here, it's a combination of both, where there's a commitment, no matter what, and then I also have to bring my own passion to the table.
Exactly.
Right.
So basically, you could turn the fire, and anyone can do it. You could turn on like the fire and sort of have passion, and even if you don't feel like it, you could still do it.
Right. So there's the plus of the coin. The upside of the coin is that it doesn't matter what you're feeling, you're still doing it. There's this consistency.
Exactly, but
the downside, if you only had coin, right, you still have to do it. That's the upside of coin. It doesn't matter what, the upside of the element of coin is that no matter what you're feeling, you're still doing it anyway.
Exactly.
The downside of it is that it could sometimes, if there's a coin without fire, it could sometimes, it could be dry.
Exactly.
Right. And it's possible for actually a person to like run out of steam at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of course.
Which is why you constantly have to have like, there's another way of thinking about it, right? So like if you use an example, okay, let's say my mom wants me to clean my room. My parents want me to clean my room. So I could do it for different reasons. I could do it because I appreciate that a room is supposed to be clean. Right? I appreciate that. I could do it out of a sense of, well, it's my room, I have to take responsibility for my stuff, so I'm going to do it. And then I could do it out of a sense of, well, the truth is, I don't really care if my room is messy, but my mom wants me to do it, so I'll do it.
Exactly, and this,
Right? And there's the different.
and that sort of falls into the last podcast, or maybe 2 podcasts ago, of whether like you have the choice to do it with pride and do it like I want to,
Mm.
and do it like out of I have to,
Right.
and it's basically a commitment, but an unwilling commitment, which is basically the coin, because you have to do it. You don't want to do it, but you have to, and it's never going to change. Or you could have the fire, which is I want to do it, and if I do this, then it'll just spark the fire.
So I guess ultimately it's a combination of both.
Exactly.
It's like if I only clean my room because I felt it's my room and I take responsibility. So one day I can say it's my room, I don't care for it, let it be a mess. Right? But then if I have in the background or somewhere like as a foundation somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
I say, look, I appreciate it's my room and I should be taking care of it. But at the end of the day, even if I don't feel like it, this is what my mother wants me to do, so I'll do. Right? So with Judaism, it's the same thing. I appreciate what mitzvahs do for me and what the lifestyle of Judaism does for me and what the commandments do for me. I appreciate all that stuff and the holidays and the family. But at the end of the day, and therefore that brings about a lot of passion, but at the end of the day, even if one morning I wake up and just happen to not be in the mood of it,
You still
I still have my commitment because it's what God wants me to do.
exactly. So it always falls into the same thing. It's the coin will always be that coin,
Mm-hmm.
but the fire
Always
It's-
changes around.
exactly. So it's sort of they depend on each other, because the coin is always a coin, and that's basically the independent variable, which means that it's like it's always going to be there regardless of whether or not you want it.
You've used that term before. What does that term come from, do you know? Like, where is it used when you say independent variable?
Science.
Oh, okay.
Like if it's
When you're doing like a test,
yeah,
like a scientific test, you have to have something outside of the test
Yeah.
itself that stays the same the whole time, so you can measure things against it.
exactly. So it's like the independent
I see.
variable would be like the measuring cup, the amount of liquid, and then the non-dependent would be like the liquid, what the result would be.
I see. And then you can measure the changes
Exactly.
against the thing that doesn't change. Okay, so now I understand. So coin,
Is basically
the independent variable,
exactly
it's a thing which will not change, and then the fire is okay. So that's very good, because so the passion is measured against how much of your commitment, how much of the passion you're putting into commitment.
exactly.
In the same way, the variable is measured against the independent variable.
Exactly. So
That's
regardless,
good. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it, actually.
so regardless of whether or not, there's always going to be that one thing, which is the coin, which is your commitment. So you're never going to change your commitment,
Right.
and it's never going to be like on and off, because you're committed to it. Self-explanatory. And then you have the fire, or yeah, basically the fire, which is the passion, and that could change. But regardless of whether or not you have passion for it, it's still the commitment that matters.
Right. And another thing that kind of comes out from what you're saying is that how are we going to measure your passion? You only measure your passion against the commitment. So in other words, a person can be passionate about Judaism, but if it doesn't actually act on it, then what does it mean?
Exactly.
Right? So the passion itself, the fire itself, is only measured against the coin of the commitment. So okay, you got lots of passion, fantastic, and you feel, you have like, people tell you, you're like, Rabbi, I'm a Jew in my heart. You don't have to do a mitzvah.
Exactly. But
That's fantastic. I'm very glad you're a Jew in your heart,
But
and it's
you're
true.
only-
But let's express that. Let's bring it out. Let's put it into our commitment.
exactly. So it's like you can talk all you want, basically, but if you can't really, if you don't have the passion or you can't back it up, don't talk.
It's like they say the really good. I don't know if this is a good joke to say, but they say it, so it's a joke. The really good, the A students, let's say medicine, the A students become doctors,
Mhm.
and the B students become teachers. You ever heard that joke?
No.
It's a joke. In other words, like, if you're really good at it, you go get it done. Like, go make it happen. Not that, it's a joke. I don't want to knock teachers.
whatever.
Teaching is a very, very, very hard job.
But-
especially when you're dealing with
But
classroom.
a doctor is.
But
It's
it's just the idea of, like, if you're really good at what you're preaching, then let's see you make it happen, right?
Exactly.
Actually, the Gemara says, I'm just thinking this now because there's being a teacher and action and your passion and talking. So the Torah compares man to a tree. So the Gemara says that a tree that bears fruit. I'm trying to think of what the line with the Gemara was. The bottom line was like this: that a sage, a scholar, who doesn't act in accordance with what he's preaching, don't listen to that guy. Right? Because even if he has all the scholarship right, but if he's not acting properly on the way if he's not acting in the way his manner is, which he's preaching, and his preaching is not right. So if a person has all his passion, but it's not expressed in his commitment,
Exactly.
right? So it's kind of like, another way of imagining it is a fire that doesn't have a wick. It's a big fire, but if you don't have a wick to hold it down, then just the fire dissipates. It's gone.
Exactly.
So even the passion itself has to be anchored in a commitment.
The commitment.
That's right. Otherwise, the passion is almost,
So
I don't know if it's useless, but it's not worth very much.
exactly. So you could have that big fire and everything, like you could have that strong fire in your heart, and sort of the desire to do it isn't as much because the commitment isn't. Because if you have that passion and you have nothing to express it with, then what's the point? And that expression is the commitment.
Right. That's the way the way in which the passion expresses itself, the way in which the passion manifests, the way in which the passion is grounded is in the commitment.
Exactly.
Fire being held by the coin.
Exactly.
Any closing words? Sounds good.